My name is Jennifer Boyce, and that's
Awesome. And then if you could just state your occupation.
I'm a naturalist at Eagle Creek Park for Indy Parks.
And then if you could just go ahead and tell us what being a naturalist is.
Sure. So as a naturalist, we provide environmental education programming through the city of Indianapolis. We work out of the Earth Discovery Center, so we're providing a range of interpretive programming and educational programming to all ages, from pre-K programs through adult programs. We're offering field trips, free family drop-in programs, paid programs, programs to homeschool audiences. So it's a lot of creating educational opportunities for groups to come into the building, but also providing opportunities out in our community through outreach, visiting schools. So it's developing programs and providing that education to the public through presentations or materials that we might develop, and be sending that out to the public as well through Facebook or flyers or promotional materials.
All right, that's awesome. Can you go through like what maybe the daily routine would be for you on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So one of the things that is wonderful, I think most naturalists really like about our jobs, is that every day is a little bit different. So there's also a lot of seasonality to our work here at the Earth Discovery Center. So in the spring and the fall, we have a lot of school field trips. So at our building, we might see over 6,000 school-age children during the year, and that's concentrated really heavily in spring and fall. So a typical day for that time is we would come into the office, and we would right away get started setting up our programming, and we would have about an hour to do that. So that's collecting live animals from our exhibits and educational props to set up in our spaces. And then we may receive up to 120 school-aged children coming to our facility for a field trip from about 10 a.m. until about noon. So we rotate them through educational programs covering topics like insects, amphibians, reptiles, geology, going out on themed nature hikes. And then after that, we would send them on their way. They usually go and have lunch at one of our shelter houses to extend their stay out in the park. And then we move on to our responsibilities in the building. So at our building, we're really fortunate to have a lot of native animals to be educating people about. So there are animal ambassadors. We have salamander species, native tree frogs, toads, several snake species, several turtle species. And because our manager is a licensed rehabber, we also have some non-releasable mammals that are here in our building as well. So you can imagine it's like being a teacher and a zookeeper in a lot of ways. So about 2.5 to 3 hours of animal care goes into every day. And then we have emails and program and event planning. So each of us kind of spearheads our own range of programs that we're in charge of and special events. So for me personally, I'm in charge of 3 of our community different themed art shows, a rotating Artist of the Month, an adult Indiana Master Naturalist series. And so we go through any responsibilities that we have for planning, preparation, correspondence, and creating promotional materials for events that we might be in charge of. And that pretty much fills your day then. There's no shortage of tasks for us to do and things that we can accomplish. It's always just a matter of finding the time to do it, because the community always wants more programs, and we always want to be creating new programs. So there's plenty of work to be done, which is great.
What is your favorite event that you spearhead?
I really enjoy our Indiana Master Naturalist series. So it's a 10-part lecture series for about 30 adult participants we have doing the program. And we meet covering different natural resources topics. So that's a really enjoyable event for me. I also help coordinate our Wildflower Weekend event, which is ongoing. Last year was our first inaugural event, but it's something that we're going to continue to grow each year. So it's a big event where we have hikes going on throughout the park, where we're cataloging the biodiversity of native spring wildflowers, where we have lecture and indoor programs and topics for the weekend. So it's a really packed event, and I've really been enjoying working on that as well. And then I really enjoy family programs. So every Saturday we do a free nature discovery class at 1:30 in our building, and that's for all ages. families just drop in, and so we get to, constantly be doing something new for that, and I really enjoy the opportunity to do that family programming with all ages as well.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It does.
It is.
About how many species of wildflowers do you guys have around the park?
Oh, great question. So we're still in the process of cataloging them. So I don't have an exact number for you right now, but that's something I can get for you if I go back and survey what we recorded last year for the park. But we have two sides to the park, the east side and the west side, and particularly on the west side of our park where we have some state nature sanctuary preserves. We have a lot of wildflower diversity of some really important species here for central Indiana. So we're really enjoying still learning and seeing new species popping up on that list.
What kind of mammals did you say you had over there?
Yeah, so right now we have a possum. We did have a groundhog who recently passed away, but not before. They were able to do some Groundhog Day programming, so that was really wonderful. So the animals that we have here, the mammals, are non-releasable, so they have sometimes injuries or different things that are preventing them from being able to survive in the wild. And so right now we do have a possum that's here in the building. The possum isn't out for the public to see all the time because mammals can get stressed out by having too much stimulation, but we are able to bring the possum out for a special program. So that's pretty exciting. But we did, until very recently, have a groundhog and a possum.
You kind of went into this a little bit already, but can you go into more of what the presentations are like for on the field trips and what you're teaching the kids when they come there?
Sure. So for our field trips, it depends on the size of the group and the age of the group and what their needs are. But for a typical spring and fall field trip, we're usually getting children grades 1 through 4, so in the kind of lower elementary range. And on the days when we have 3 staff people here, we'll have 120 students arriving. And we'll split them into 3 groups and rotate them between 3 class topics the teacher has chosen. So we always encourage them to have an outdoor hike because Eagle Creek Park is such a special place for us to have in central Indiana. We have 1,400 acres of water through the reservoir and then 3,900 acres of forest. So for a lot of people that are in central Indiana and right in downtown Indianapolis, being able to go for a hike in the forest is a really special experience. So we're always really encouraging that be one of the program activities. But then we might have them do a pond study activity. We have an educational pond out behind our building, so we'll get scoop nets and containers, collection containers, and the kids get to actually be scooping into the water and getting out tadpoles, aquatic macroinvertebrates, so different insects that are living in the water, snails that are aquatic, so they're getting to really hands-on see the job of an aquatic biologist. And we can talk about how finding different types of animals in our waterways teaches us about the quality of our water, what we might need to do to improve that waterway. Geology is another topic that's been increasingly popular. So we would split them into groups and have them work through identifying different types of rock, sedimentary rock, metamorphic rock, and igneous rock, talking about the importance of minerals, and talking about what non-renewable resources are and how they're formed, so really giving a picture of geology in our everyday lives. We might do a class on reptiles and amphibians and really teach them about life cycles. Using salamanders and frogs are really great, talking about amphibian life cycles. And people always really enjoy reptile programs where they're getting to see snakes and turtles and oftentimes have a hands-on experience. And we do try to be very hands-on in all of our programming because we know that people are learning the most when most of their senses are engaged. So if we can incorporate elements where people are seeing things, touching things, and smelling things, we know that is making a bigger connection for them. And the goal of all of our programs is to really connect people to these resources so they know what is here in central Indiana, and then going that further step, making them care so that they want to be protecting what's out there. So those are kind of some big goals for us, is just introducing people to the variety of wildlife, of plants, and animals that we have here in central Indiana, and then making that connection to them so that they are moved to be stewards of our environment and our resources.
Of course. It sounds like you really love your job. How did you originally get interested in becoming a naturalist, and kind of what was your pathway to getting there, where you are now?
Sure. So I went to Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio, and I received my zoology degree there and minors in natural resources management and physical anthropology. So I've always had a deep love of animals and of nature and of caring for wildlife. So zoology was a clear pathway for me. But my original intention had been to take that into zoos and work as a zookeeper. And after I graduated, I became a tropical butterfly keeper at the Franklin Park Conservatory in Columbus, Ohio. And when I was in that position, it was a position where I was a keeper in charge of the biological collection there, but it was also part of my job to be interacting with the public and doing butterfly releases and answering questions. And it was when I was in that position that I discovered that I was very passionate about teaching people about the life history of the butterflies, and in addition to just caring for them. So I didn't really even know about the position of being a naturalist until I was in that keeper position and learned how much I enjoyed teaching people as well. And then I moved here to Indianapolis, and I was hired on by the Children's Museum working in their paleontology and archaeology exhibits and learning a lot about interpretation and teaching science concepts and other concepts to people of all different ages. And then I was hired on by the Indianapolis Zoo as a zookeeper in their bird and butterfly exhibits. And after that, there was a position here at Eagle Creek Park, and so I went into that because I really, the more positions I held, the more it became clear to me that I wanted to be doing both animal care work and conservation work and education work. And so being a naturalist is really the perfect job for me. It allows me to be able to bring all of those passions together.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
It is. Yeah, it's everyone that works in these positions, they just feel so fortunate to be able to do this work, and we feel it's really important work and really rewarding work.
What are your normal hours of operation?
Yeah.
Sure. So we're really fortunate. We are a city park, and we are open year-round. We are open 7 days a week. So that provides us the opportunity to be a resource to many, many people. We are open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., and on Sunday from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m.
Awesome. And then is there just any other comments or things you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I think I would just want to say that, Eagle Creek Park is just a really special resource, and it brings a lot of happiness and fulfillment to a lot of people in our community. And it's just always our goal to be reaching out to more and more of our community and bringing them into the park and coming to their spaces to teach them about all the wonderful biodiversity here in central Indiana, and to teach them that the everyday choices that they make really do have a big impact on our community, both on people and nature. So we feel really privileged to be able to bring that message to our community.
Do you guys have any social media or a website that people could find?
We do have an Eagle Creek Park page through our Eagle Creek Park Foundation. So that's a way to see some different bigger events that we have. We have a Park Naturalist Facebook page, and there is an Indy Parks Facebook page as well. And then there is a city website, but that is also kind of being worked on. So unfortunately, two of our best promotional websites are having some maintenance done, which is great because it's going to make them more accessible. But right now, they're both being worked on.
Definitely, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Well, it was so nice getting to talk to you and hearing all about the park and everything you guys do. We really appreciate you accommodating us in all these changing times.
No, I'm so happy to be talking to you, and I'm really glad that you're going to be just helping us to get the word about Eagle Creek Park, because there's just so much to explore here, and there's really something for everybody. So we're happy to get the word out.